Dear students, let's today understand some definitions of language, which is part of your module first, language and communication. First, we will try to understand and analyze definitions of language, and in my later video, I will explain to you characteristics of language. Now, you know that we talk with each other by using language. So language is a means of communication. Now this is a great phenomena related with human race. We don't find such type of phenomena in animals, but it is clearly related with human race. So many scholars and linguists have tried to understand this phenomena and have defined language in different terms. Let's now one by one understand the definitions given by them. You have here Edward Sapir, who was an American Jewish anthropologist and linguist. In his book Language, he defined language as, I quote, language is primarily human and non-instinctive method of communicating ideas, emotions, desires by means of system of voluntarily produced symbols. Now let's analyze this definition. In the first part of definition, Sapir says that language is primarily human. It is obvious that we use language, so it is human. In the second part, he says that it is non-instinctive method of communicating ideas and emotion and desires. Now, what is this non-instinctive method? It means that we use language very thoughtfully. Before expressing our thoughts, ideas, we meditate on use of language, which word we should use while talking, which tone we should apply while talking. So this never happens with animal communication. Have you seen a dog thinks before he barks? No. When dog finds that it is insecure, he begins instinctively to bark. So language is primarily human and non-instinctive method. What we communicate ideas, emotions and desires. How we communicate? By means of system of voluntarily produced symbols. So these symbols here, it means that the sounds or written marks. So for example, I say ball, here letter B, A, L, L are all symbols, and when I use or pronounce or utter this word ball, the sound b or l, these are the symbols. So we are going to see these symbols, speech sounds, etc. in our latter units of your paper. The second linguist or second scholar is Henry Sweet. He was an English philologist, phonetician, and grammarian. So phonetician, this word is new to you. It means ध्वनिशास्त्र, भाषेचा जे ध्वनी आहे त्यांचा अभ्यास करणारे शास्त्र. So in his book The History of Language, he gave a definition of language. Language may be defined as the expression of thought by means of speech sounds. This is a very simple but at the same time covering all features of language definition. So what he says that language is expression of thought. It's very clear that we express our thought, but here thought does not only mean the thoughts, but it includes thoughts, ideas, emotion, desires, everything. And what we use to express these thoughts, speech sounds, the sounds that we use while making speech. So here also you come to know the speech sounds, or in the first definition, symbols. What are speech sounds? How do we use them in our communication or language? We're going to learn it. Now let's come to the third definition of language, and it is given by a British linguist. His name is R. H. Robbins. So in his book General Linguists, he defines language as a symbol of system based on a pure or arbitrary conventions, infinitely extendable, modifiable according to the changing needs and conditions of the speaker. Now let's analyze this definition also. What he says is that language is a symbol system. It is obvious and very clear because we have seen that there are symbols, speech sounds are symbols, and they we use them as a system. For example, see, when we have to name or when we have to say this object, we call it a bat. Now, while calling this object a bat, we see that the sound b is there, the sound a is there, and sound t is there, and they are placed sequentially. If you utter these sounds in this sequence, you won't able to indicate this object. Suppose you say tap. If you reversed the sound and you say that tap, it won't be this object. So this is a system. Using speech sounds in language as symbol is a system, and we knowingly unknowingly use that system. So this system is based on pure or arbitrary conventions. Here conventions we must understand. Convention means from early stage of language development, we are using certain words, certain symbols conventionally, traditionally, and we still continue to using it. For example, this object conventionally used, it word is used to indicate it is tree, but there is no reason Why this object is called tree? Why it is not called tree? Because the relation of this object and this word is arbitrary. So we use these symbol system based on arbitrary convention, and these conventions or this use of system is extendable indefinitely. There is no limit to extend it or modify it. So we can modify, we can change language according to our needs and conditions in future, and even we have done it in the past. So this definition also highlights certain features of language. Now let's understand the fourth definition. The fourth definition is given by Noam Chomsky. Now he is a very famous American linguist. He was also philosopher and cognitive scientist. So he defines language as innate capacity of native speakers to understand and form grammatical sentences. Now let's understand this definition by analyzing it so that you would able to understand what exactly Noam Chomsky has said. Now he says that language is innate capacity. Capacity means you can we call it the word we use in Marathi for the capacity is shamta, or in simple words ability of our mind. So this ability of our mind is innate. Innate means it is there lying in our brain. He believes that there is a part in the brain, and in that part of brain the language capacity is by has come default. So this innate capacity of native speakers in native speakers means the original speakers of a particular language. Now this capacity of native speakers for what? To understand and form grammatical sentences. What does that mean? See, in a simple way, he ate a mango. Now you will understand that in this sentence you have used certain pattern of grammar. For example, here in this sentence, subject first comes, then it follows by verb, and then it follows by object. So in English language grammar, this is a pattern. Subject is called in Marathi karta, क्रियापद आणि कर्म. So this is the pattern of English language. Now if we compare it with the pattern of Marathi language, the sentence would be त्याने आंबा खाला. Okay, so the subject, object and verb, karta, कर्म आणि क्रियापद. So Here you see that the original native speaker of Marathi language would definitely use and understand this pattern of making sentence, and the native speaker of English language will, without any instruction, without any hesitation, would understand the sentence because this pattern is there as innate capacity. So Chomsky defines language on the basis of grammar. So therefore he says that this innate capacity, the purpose of this innate capacity is to understand and form grammatical sentences. So in this way he defines language. Now let's understand how Indian grammarian have defined the language. So you might have heard the name of Patanjali. So Patanjali was a Sanskrit grammarian and author of Mahabhashya. His name of book is Mahabhashya, and it is commentary which is called in Marathi Bhashya on Panini's Ashtadhyayi. So Panini wrote book on Sanskrit grammar Ashtadhyayi, and on his book Patanjali wrote another book as commentary. Just like Jnanadev wrote a book on Gita, today we call it Jnaneshwari. In the same way, so how Patanjali defines, he gives a very simple expression. Language is that human expression which is uttered out by speech organs. So here you have reference to the speech organs. So what is language? Language is human expression. Since language is human phenomena, it is human expression, and it is uttered here, the word uttered here मराठीत त्याला आपण उच्चारणे असं म्हणतात. So language is that human expression which is uttered out by speech organs. Speech organs here, he means the tongue, oral cavity, teeth, larynx, etc. So these are the speech organs located in our mouth and neck, and we use them while producing the words or the sentences. So in this way, these five scholars, grammarians, linguists define language by highlighting different features of language according to their thoughts and philosophy. I hope you would understand this definition and try to remember them. Thank you.